Mr. Dyche, so you're quite an experienced manager in the Premier League, obviously, but playing in Europe isn't that big of a deal in your career since now. But what does these games actually mean to you personally?
Well, I took Burnley into Europe, so I've had some experience, but not quite as deep as this one with Europa League and the reformation of a different league. So yeah, a bit more to it. Not looking forward to the challenge. Very good result against Porto in my first game. A different kind of environment here, you know, away obviously. Taking on, I'm sure, will be a good side and a good challenge here. And a side that recently maybe results haven't gone as well, but generally a strong side.
So basically, you're still at the very beginning of your time in Nottingham as a manager. How do you view this game in this context? Is it more like a burden, or is it more like part of a process you're quite into?
No, it's not a burden. I mean, the club, you know, well known for their history in Europe and that type of thing. And I know some of the players who played around that time as well, so it's certainly not a burden. But it's just a stretch on the resource of the team with injuries, and some players don't qualify for the squad and things like that. So yeah, there's a stretch in that sense, but no, definitely not a burden. You know, the club worked very hard last season to get to Europe, so now it's about taking on the challenge that's right in front of us.
Next question.
Hi, what's your opinion on Sturm Graz, and are there any players who stand out?
Well, we've had to fast track our learning about them, of course, but they look like a strong side, look like they're willing to work for each other, and a team aspect to it. And individually, we'll wait and see. I mean, you know, the Premier League, these players come across top class opposition all the time, so we're not going to take these lightly, that's for sure. But they should be used to playing against top opposition and individual players. But it's about the collective attitude and the collective performance. And I think Sturm Graz, they showed a really strong side. They have got a collective team ethic, as well as some good individuals.
Any more questions? Also for Neco?
Get in there.
You don't have to, that's fine.
Favourite best opposition.
Away with that then.
Good questions, get in.
Sarah, throw us a hard one.
Yeah, in.
Well, an easy one first. Can you just have a bit of an injury update on how some of the
Yeah,
players...
it's not that easy actually. You might tell me, oh yeah. The more recent ones, Douglas Luiz obviously going to receive treatment. That's not likely to be a quick situation. We're waiting on more news. We've got Callum, who hopefully is going to be slightly easier. Not this game, but we'll see how that goes for the weekend. But then the international break. The international break is going to be important, I think, for a few players to give them more of a chance to get fit. Woody's making good progress. I'm trying to think who else. There's that many in there. From the weekend, there's a few. I think 11, I think, we counted. No, sorry, that's not just all injured. Some of the lads who couldn't make this squad list. And so, yeah, not perfect with that sense, and linking in the question, the demand of the game schedule. And as I said, the international break, we've got to do well in this game, and of course the next one. But then the international break, I think, will be very helpful at this time to try and give players a bit more time to recover from their injuries. So we're hopeful on that.
I know last time you put some of the younger players on the bench. You told there was a few out there as well. How valuable can that be in terms of their experience and just kind of getting used to?
Yeah, I mean, I've always thought that, I've never tried to do anything else than fill the bench, and I think it's great experience to the young players. But they do have to be realistic. We've got to make sure they can handle what it is, and handle being around the first team here and what might come. So we don't just bring kids who are, it's so far off in their own sort of mature as a player. But the ones that are around it, the ones who've been doing 21s and 23s it is now. Then we certainly want to get them in pop. So there's a number of Trotwooders this time, but they're not travelling for any other reason than we need them. We haven't got the bodies with us, we haven't got the fit bodies with us, so therefore we're using every resource we've got.
Talked before about rotation, and obviously there's a big game at the weekend as well.
Thank you. How do you manage that? I guess it's something that you've learned from the previous European midweek fixture. What kind of learnings do you take for this one?
Well, only that the games are different big games for different reasons. Like we were just discussing, this means a lot to the club and the history of the club and the fans, of course, and the fans who travel and etc., etc. So we're certainly taking this seriously. But we have to look at the next game as well as being very, very important. The Premier League's, at the end of the day, it's your bread and butter. It's the thing the club was striving for them years to get back into. and it's been a very tough period to sustain what they did last year. That's quite obvious. So correcting that. Performance-wise, I think there's good signs that we've got to change that into wins, but we are thin on numbers, so it's a risk of reward at playing players in both. But some players are going to need to play certainly segments of both. We'll have to wait and see how we can manage it the best we can, and the scoreline and all that type of thing. But they're both big games for different reasons.
The special games, obviously the European ones and away ones as well. What do they mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, as a coach, and a manager of it, well, firstly, I know the history of Nottingham Forest in Europe, of course, and the varying spells. And to get back in there is a big badge of honour for the club. And then for me to be a part of it, of course. And the first win, I think someone told me against Porto as well. So for me to finally get the badge on, it took all them years to do so in a different way than being a player, was very pleasing. Now I'm back in, and it's sort of settled down, and it's not just your first game now. Big competition, this one, big competition in the Premier League. So, to be honest, I don't really overthink that side of things. I always say that I think there's a time in my career would have probably done when you look back on all these kind of nights. But at the moment, it's planning, preparation, making sure the players are right to go and deliver a performance. That's my main focus.
Neco, what do they mean to you as a player, these European nights?
Well, I think first and foremost, tomorrow night's a very important game. I think everything we did against Paul in our last game was very positive. It was a good performance. The stuff we're good at, we did that. We did it very well. So I think it's building on that. I think giving these fans memories to have the rest of their lives, and I think that starts with giving absolutely everything out there, putting on a good performance, and essentially coming away with 3 points. That's what we want to do, and that's what we'll try our best to do.
How have you found the European experience so far?
Enjoyed it. It's been a mix of games. Obviously a win, draw, loss. But I think we need to get them games out of our system now and kind of start fresh. For some of the lads, it's the first time in Europe, so I think now 3 games is enough to crack on now, and we're not here just to take part, but it's definitely a tournament that we want to win, and we'll do everything we can to try and achieve that. But yeah, so far I've enjoyed it, and hopefully that can continue.
Have you learned anything from the previous games that can help you going forward? Or are they all a bit different?
Each game's different. I think one of the big factors is the atmospheres in games. Coming away to a place like this, we know how good the atmosphere and their fans can be. But at the same time, our fans going to be there. There's 1,400 of them come in, so I've mentioned so many times wherever they travel in the UK or now in Europe, they're as loud as ever, and they're our 12th man, so we'll build on that and thrive off them.
How much of a difference do they make? We were speaking to Ryan before the previous Europa League game, and he was talking about how the start of the season and the run of results that you'd had, that kind of bond had maybe been stretched a little bit. Do you feel that you're getting back to having that kind of togetherness and unity? And it's so important.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, we thrive off the fans, and we play off their connection in the stadium. The louder they are, the better we play, and as simple as that. So we just need our fans to be there, being as loud as possible, and hopefully that'll make us play better.
On a personal level, you've been in great form lately, been crowned Player of the Month. What's behind it? Is there any kind of key to it?
Mine's got that kid.
I think for me it's I think the start of this season is not been the start that any of us would wanted. See, it's been up and down, but I think the bare minimum that you can give is to give absolutely everything, work hard, and do all the basics right, and that's what I've stuck to. Sometimes with football teams, you're going to have dips and you're going to have a bad run of form, but I think the least you can do is work as hard as you can and leave everything out there.
I don't want it to be awkward because my manager sat next to you, but how have you found all the changes?
No, listen, it's as footballers we're used to it. It's part and parcel of the game. But I'm obviously not just saying this because he's sat right next to me.
Sure.
No, but we've enjoyed it. And you can feel that togetherness back. I think we've missed that the start of the season. Not just with us teammates and the staff, but with the fans as well. We missed that bond and that connection. I feel like it's all coming back together now. So hopefully we can keep building, keep getting points, and just do the best as we can.
I feel there's a lot of positives to build on from the previous few games.
Yeah, 100%. Like I mentioned there, last Europa League game against Porto, said it was a very good performance and a clean sheet as well. Something that we struggled this season, and something that we did so well last season. So it was a nice feeling to get that clean sheet. Confidence booster. I think we really needed that as defenders. So now we can hopefully just build on that, and tomorrow hopefully get a clean sheet and some more goals to bring back them 3 points.
Yes, please.
So how did you saw the match of Sturm Graz against Rangers or Celtic?
Sorry, I didn't understand that, sorry.
The match from Sturm Graz against Glasgow Rangers or Celtic Glasgow?
The question was, I can help. Did you have the chance to watch the game from Sturm Graz against Celtic Glasgow or Rangers?
Yeah, we did some analysis with the team to get a feel of, what the game is like. But obviously, analysis is important, but equally, when the whistle blows, that's the most important thing, to be ready, the best you can, but ready for our performance, not just the opposition. So it's only some stuff we think is important to show these guys, but it's about our performance. That's what we think is very important.
Do you know 40 years ago Nottingham played in Graz?
I didn't know that, no.
No, the result?
1884, 2-1 on aggregate.
The
I
result?
was told him that.
No, not my research.
Somebody stopped me. But I decided to just scrape by it. He decided to get a pass.
I'm my research.
Any more?
Talking about the game, which characteristics do you expect from this game of football?
Well, a cup competition, I'd be surprised if it hasn't got a lot of energy to it. I'd be surprised if the fans are not up for it and bring their own atmosphere here. Well, we've got fans coming in good numbers for a journey like this, so I think there'll be a good atmosphere, and that can sometimes go into the game. But we've got to make our own atmosphere within our team unit and take that into the game, not rely just on the stadium, but rely on ourselves. And I think, I preach that to the players a lot. We have to be aware of the opposition. We've come here this evening to get a feel of the stadium, but really it's about the atmosphere that we create in ourselves and our performance. I think that's the important thing for us.
And speaking about the tactical approach Sturm is using, also on an international level, what do you make of it, or how did you prepare for this kind of football?
Yeah, the two different changes we've mainly noticed is the diamond going into like a 4-3-3 version of it. In different games, different reasons. Lately, the results haven't been as good as the early part of the season, but that doesn't, like I say, fortunately, with the players in the Premier League, as you'll all know, and I don't know as much about Australian football as I do about the Premier League, there's lots of different dynamics, lots of different styles, lots of different ways of playing. So the players should at least have an idea of that. But whatever way you look at tactics, it comes down to the delivery of tactics. So we've got our own way of playing. We're growing and we're learning about that. I think the signs have been pretty positive. But we know we've got to deliver our performance. So yes, we're aware of the opposition. Yes, we're aware they can be a bit more flexible in changing their style. But we've got to make sure that we deliver what we can deliver. And I think then we've got a better chance of winning the game.
You were on the brink of beating United at the weekend. How much anger do you, or can you bring along after this probably 2 robbed points in your point of view?
Yeah, I mean, it's not anger. I understand the language difference, but it's not anger. It's the any frustration goes away quickly because a lot of the performance was good. A lot of the physical performance, the energy in the side, but also the quality in the side. for different reasons. Playing when we could to create chances, but then defending properly when we could in a unit. You know, they're all things that are important to the team and the way I want them to work. We want the framework and the defensive understanding of our team, this is, but we also want the freedom to go and play. And that's from all the players. You know, there were changes for the team because of injuries and different things, suspension as well, but there's also the way that we want the whole team to understand how we work, the basic principles of how we work, and that's certainly one of the key things is the minimum requirement is maximum effort. So I'm expecting the side to be out there with a real effort into their performance, as well as some understanding tactically, and as well as the freedom to go and play and enjoy taking on a game.
One more from Sarah.
Thank you. Sean, I'm not asking for your team news, but up front is somewhere particularly where you're quite short on options. Could it be a real opportunity for Callum Owendo, this one?
Well, yeah, I mean, as you said, I don't think it's rocket science.
Oh, yeah, I didn't want to say it.
No, I'm not being offensive, but, you know, he's the only one who's realistically fit enough and available. So, yeah, I mean, you know, we want players to get a chance. They certainly will be other players get a chance, but, you know, a great chance to come and play here and go and take on the game for some of the individuals as well who are getting a chance, or certainly a first chance under me. To go and take on the game. So, yeah, he'll certainly be one in the pack that, you know, starts and goes well.
He's obviously not had too many minutes. In terms of fitness, how is he?
Well, this is the thing. This is the dilemma we've had since we've got here. You know, I mentioned about my way of working, that fitness, not questioning others, bringing that up to speed. Also, players who've been in and out with sort of soft tissue injuries, trying to be careful, trying to get that through this busy period, using the squad the best we can. Through the substitution, and the players who could start the game. And they need games. I mean, look, this is the challenge of coming into the middle of it. Well, not the middle, but, you know, once the season's up and running, it's not like a pre-season where you could, you know, the outcome is not as important, but the outcome you want is fitness. This is the outcome is important. These are big games, they're important games, and you're trying to get people fit and sharp and understanding and the third change of manager in a short while. So there's a lot going on for these guys. They've been excellent so far. We just want to continue that, get through the next two really important games, get a break for some of them, hopefully get some back injury-free. Against what everyone believes in the media, next hour you'll be able to tell 2 weeks' worth of players. It's not like that. A lot of them go on international duty. So we're just doing everything we can to make sure we fast-track the players into our way of working. And I must say they've been terrific so far as a group. We want that to continue. Once the game kicks off tomorrow.
Even if you're still short of out-and-out strikers, you've still got plenty of goal threat in the side. Is that encouraging for games like that?
Yeah, I mean, look, we're going to have to adapt to different things. We want them players, as I said, the tactical freedom to go and play. And we might have to operate in different ways and put different people in different positions in order to get what we want.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, didn't you start some
I thought that was going to be the best press conference